The Indiana Pacers have their backs against the wall after a 120 to 109 loss in Game 5 of the NBA Finals last night. Hey, good morning, everyone. It is the day after. Let's go back and recap what happened last night with the Pacers and try to set up quickly a first look at Game 6. First of all, Game 5 got away from the Pacers in the first half. Quite honestly, it should have been about a 25 to 30 point deficit by halftime. Pacers were awful in all regards. They were not ready to play this game. Oklahoma City came out as the hungrier, more energized team, took it to the Pacers, forced mistake after mistake from Indiana. They didn't look mentally ready, they didn't look physically ready. And leading into this game, I said, can the Pacers do what the Florida Panthers did when Florida in the Stanley Cup Finals went into Edmonton and took Game 5? Well, that's because Florida was faster, quicker, sharper, more energized, and it was a complete flip flop of that last night in the NBA Finals. Oklahoma City looked like the desperate team. They looked like the team that was going to come out and bury the hatchet early against the Indiana Pacers, and the Pacers had no response. Tyrese Halliburton leaves the game injured. Pascal Siakam was awful. Miles Turner was no impact. Pascal Siakam ended up in the first half. I think he had, 4 turnovers in the first half, ended up with 6 turnovers in the game. Um, it just was not a good night for the Indiana Pacers. And then in the second, and somehow this Pacers team managed to keep themselves in range and give themselves a shot. And you got to give them credit for that because they were finding a way to compete despite the fact that they could not play one lick of good basketball. I mean, it was not good in that first half. And Oklahoma City did pretty much whatever they wanted, and the Indiana Pacers couldn't stop it. I mean, you look at the score by halftime, and it was already 59 to 45, a 14-point lead as Pacers give up almost 60 in the first half of a playoff game. And it was Oklahoma City really that got out in transition and ran, and the Pacers had their pace. It was up and down, up and down. But they just could not stop OKC. And so the Pacers found themselves down by what could have been 30. It was only 14. And then they battled back in the third quarter and got it down to 8 points heading into the fourth quarter. And you're thinking, okay, they're in range. This is kind of where their comfort zone has been. To trail by somewhere 10 or less going into the fourth quarter and figure out a way to wear a team down and take advantage of that in the fourth quarter. And it started to look like typical Pacers game. They chip away, chip away, chip away. They get it down to 2 points, and then Andrew Nemhard. 2 bad turnovers back to back lead to 2 buckets at the other end for OKC. And before you know it, the Pacers are down 7. They end up going down double digits, and they end up losing the game by 11. But the game really was decided on those 2 turnovers because you felt like the Pacers got themselves in a prime position, still plenty of time left. It wasn't even halfway through the fourth quarter. And then the 2 turnovers just really cost them. And so the Pacers couldn't get it done. Couldn't get it done. Now, how do they respond? Well, let's take a look at the first big story out of this game, and that's Tyrese Halliburton and what he's dealing with a calf injury. Now, the question is, it's a calf strain. Is it an injury or not an injury? Because he ended up playing and he was not effective. They did not get their typical Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, he got 4 points last night. Never hit a field goal. He was 0 for 6 from the field. He was 0 for 4 from 3. 7 rebounds, 6 assists, but they've got to have more than 4 points from Tyrese Halliburton. He ended up, to show what happened with him on the court, he ended up as a minus 13 in this game. And so, and that's basically the point differential while he was on the floor, minus 13. Obi Toppin had a couple of nice plays, but he was minus 16. And he only played 22 minutes. That's not, I mean, that means in less than half the game, when he was on the floor, the Pacers were outscored by 16 points. TJ McConnell, though, was terrific. McConnell was a real spark. I mean, that guy went out there and just gutted his way to play after play. He, truly was the bright spot for the Pacers, scoring 18 points. Only Pascal Siakam, who finished with 28, had more than TJ McConnell. McConnell finished 8 for 14 from the field, hit a three-pointer. Pretty solid night for TJ McConnell. But another kind of a disappointing night for Miles Turner. Played half the game, 25 minutes, just 3 for 5 from the field. Here's the thing about Miles Turner. I thought one of the big advantages the Pacers have, they've been unable to exploit because Miles Turner is not a post-up 5. He's not a guy that is productive down on the low block, especially back to the basket. And that's one of the real advantage matchups the Pacers have is Miles Turner going down low when they get the switches on the screens, and he takes a guard who's 6'4", 6'5", down to the basket. The Pacers should be able to dominate that. And they didn't. And they haven't. And that's on Miles. Got to be better in those situations. So what do you think the Pacers need to do to respond? Well, one is get to home base. Get your home cooking. Put this one in the rearview mirror. Realize you've still got a winner-take-all opportunity in Game 7 if you can take care of your home court. And the last time on the home court, the Pacers didn't do it. They lost. And that's why they find themselves in a 3-2 hole. When I picked this series before it began, I said the Pacers would win in 6 if they had a 3-2 advantage after 5. Well, now they don't. After losing Games 4 and 5 and falling back-to-back for the first time since March. It's been over 2 months since the Pacers, actually over 3 months since the Pacers had lost back-to-back games. And now they find themselves in a must-win situation. How does a team respond when their backs are firmly against the wall? Well, we're going to see in Game 6. That comes up on Thursday night down in Indianapolis. And if the Pacers don't win this one, Oklahoma City can celebrate an NBA championship on the Pacers floor. And so all the pressure on the Pacers coming up on Thursday. We'll see what happens. We'll talk more about that in a video still to come this week. But tough one last night. Pacers 120-109 losers at the hands of Oklahoma City. All right, everybody have a terrific Tuesday. We'll talk to you again soon.